Hi Algebra 1 students, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Totally kidding, just feeling like being a little YouTuber here. Hopefully these videos that I'm giving you are being beneficial. I've seen a lot of you posting your 9.3 notes and your 9.3 worksheet assignment on Schoology already, and they are looking really good. So very proud of you guys for that. If you haven't already done the 9.3 assignments, you should do those before doing 9.4 because 9.4 builds off of 9.3. All that being said, welcome back. Hopefully you're having a successful time doing your distance learning. Today we're going to move on to section 9.4, which is about solving quadratic equations using square roots. So if you remember, in class we learned how to solve quadratic equations by graphing them and looking at the x-intercepts. And then we also learned how to solve quadratic equations by factoring and setting those factors equal to 0 and solving for x. So in 9.4, we are learning how to solve quadratic equations by using square roots. So that's why in 9.3, we learned how to simplify radicals, because 9.4, we are using that knowledge to solve quadratics. So anytime you're trying to solve an equation, that means you're trying to get the variable by itself. So here in problem number 1, we have p squared equals 49. How do we undo squaring something? Because we have p squared. Hopefully you're thinking to yourself, take the square root of it. To undo p squared, we take the square root of it. Now, this is an equation, so whatever we do to one side of the equation, we also have to do to the other side of the equation. Now, when we go to simplify this, the square root and the squared part of the p cancel each other out, because p times p is p squared, so we just get p on this side. And I want you to think to yourself, what is the square root of 49? What multiplies by itself to get us 49? Hopefully you're thinking what I'm thinking. 7 times 7 is 49. Now, before we know we're done, remember from our graph and from factoring, we have some options when we're solving a quadratic equation. So sometimes we get one solution, sometimes we get two solutions or two x-intercepts, and sometimes we get no solution. So we have at least one solution right now, but can you think of any other number that multiplies by itself to get positive 49? What is a negative times a negative? A positive. So p could be 7, but p could also be negative 7. So p equaling 7 and negative 7 is your answer to problem number 1 on our 9.4 notes. Because 7 times 7 is 49, but also negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. Moving on to number 2, p squared equals 4. I bet you know what to do here. Let's take the square root of both sides to undo the squaring part. So p squared equals 4. To get rid of the squared part on the p, we want to take the square root. It's kind of like if we had 2p equals 4 and we divided both sides by 2. Same idea here. So what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. The square root and the squared part of the p cancel out. So p times p is p squared, so we just get p by itself. And what is the square root of 4? That one should be slightly easier than 49. We know that 2 times 2 is 4. What other number might be able to be multiplied by itself to get 4? Negative 2. Perfect. So again, we have two answers for problem number 2. So many 2's in this problem. P could be positive 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. And p could also be negative 2 because negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4, because a negative times a negative is a positive. All right, just like we did in 9.3, I'm going to give you shorter videos. That way you can pause as needed and work along with me. So if you have your notes page printed out, or you just have a blank piece of paper with you, make sure you're writing this down with me and submitting a picture of that to our Schoology page. If you would like, you could also be working side by side on your worksheet assignment for 9.4. Problems 1 and 2 on your worksheet assignment are very similar to problems 1 and 2 on the 9.4 notes. Just a reminder on the worksheet, make sure you are showing your work. I do have a couple of you that submitted just answers for the 9.3 worksheet assignment, and I'm not going to give you credit if you don't have work, because I know you have so many resources when you're at home that you could just be Googling or using Mathway or Pictomath or whatever it is, whatever the new thing is around the block. So make sure you are showing work, so that way I know that you know how to do this and that you didn't just Google all your problems.